All right, do it. Looks like everything's connecting. We are connecting. Should be one.
I need to try and set up like an auto bot to tweet.
The Autobots.
Right. The to like retweet the stream tweet from my account whenever on Wednesdays when I'm not available,
Oh yeah.
so that it gets retweeted again. Because it still tweets it out on the account. It just doesn't get retweeted by mine.
Okay.
Let's see if we're. Can I hear us?
Can you hear us? Yeah, I hear us.
How about your audio? Yeah.
Okay.
Perfect.
Nice.
I like how now I've gotten so used to listening to our audio that I don't even really need to hear you speak. I just need to hear a noise to know where your audio levels are at.
Excellent. Okay.
So we are live on all platforms now.
Excellent. Very good.
Oh, that's not what I meant to do. I meant to do this and then say, welcome to the show.
Welcome, welcome.
All right.
There it is. Showing up.
Perfect. Okay. You know, you mentioned Autobots.
Yeah.
There was a really interesting, since we're in the pre-show, there was a really interesting like Twitter thread that I saw the other day that was, Twitter's still live, by the way.
Yeah.
That was like, why is it that when you look at the Michael Bay Transformers movies, if you watch a clip, it's some of the coolest things you've ever seen.
Oh, yeah.
But when you sit down to watch the whole movie, it is such a slog to watch.
Yeah. It's jumpy or there's stuff that didn't quite connect.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it is. But yeah, the designs are great.
Yeah.
I love seeing Optimus Prime in that.
Yeah.
You know, I am Optimus Prime. That's awesome.
I remember the other day that movie has What I've Done by Linkin Park for the credits. Which, look, Linkin Park has a special place in my heart.
I'm sure it does.
But, because I'm that age, right?
Right.
But just Optimus Prime standing in front of falling stars and then What I've Done playing.
Yeah.
Like, all right, come on now. What were you thinking?
I liked Hybrid Theory. I thought it was a really good album.
Yeah?
Yeah.
If I was pressed, I don't know that I could name 10 Linkin Park songs.
Oh, I don't know if I can name them.
What I've
I
done.
could, I could sing some of them. You know, had to five it out. It doesn't even matter. Doesn't even matter.
Yeah. Numb?
Yeah.
That's Linkin Park? Yeah.
Yeah. Trying to think of some other songs. You got the Incredible Mr. Whatever. It's like a hidden track where it's their DJ doing some stuff.
Yeah.
I'll do that. It's been too long.
Yeah. We got 4.
It's been too long. Yes.
New top 10 coming. Top 10 Linkin Park songs. So, speaking of top 10s, I was actually, because we're in the pre-show, this part will get cut out. I was actually thinking about doing a top 10 of the new Scarlet and Violet Pokemon.
Oh, yeah?
Gonna have to spoiler tag that because people get really weird about spoilers for that. But I just think it'd be really fun and weird to be like, yeah, I'm just gonna talk about my 10 favorite new Pokemon, and then have the comment section just be absolute garbage, dumpster fire.
Right.
Like, even the people that like Pokemon just go, you like this one?
No.
Oh.
All right, dang it.
That is one thing I've had to get used to as the channel's numbers have gone up, is comment sections get rough, man.
Right? People got opinions, Trey.
Yeah, they don't like mine sometimes.
Fair enough.
Like, with your music, do you find that people are generally, like, if they're going to comment, they're probably going to be relatively positive on music, right?
Yeah, but I mean, I can, like 5 comments on a video is like huge, so I don't quite have the repertoire in there to look through and see.
I feel like if you go to a music video just to tell them it's bad,
yeah,
like that feels like an extra level than going to somebody's like review or gameplay video and going, "Hey, this game sucks."
Yeah.
But I guess people send death threats to devs, so who knows?
Who knows? People, come on now. Yeah. Come on. Why would it be that way?
Okay, when we talk about devs, why is it that anytime something's unfinished or buggy, the instant problem is, well, the devs must be to blame and not the producers must be to blame?
Well, we got to give the devs props, right? Because they're actually putting the numbers into the computers.
Yeah.
Straightforward. But your producers are messing, keeping up the story, keeping up visualizations. They've got an idea of how it's supposed to look and how it's supposed to play.
Right.
And they don't have an idea on how to code.
Right.
So, I do the same thing. That happens in movies.
Yeah, absolutely.
If they had left Peter Jackson alone, The Hobbit might have been all right.
Yeah.
The Hobbit movies might have been all right.
100%.
There should have been 2 of them at most.
Just made me think about all that, the backlash to the Justice League movie where Henry Cavill's mustache has been removed.
Oh, my gosh.
It's like they paid so much money to make him look worse.
Yeah.
Just leave the mustache on him. It's fine.
Yeah. He's back from the dead. Just, he hadn't shaved in a while.
Well, I mean, in Star Trek, whenever somebody comes back from the dead, they almost always have a beard. So
Yeah.
why not?
Why not?
And if you followed this pre-show conversation all the way from Autobots to now,
Yeah.
that's how my brain works.
Yeah.
Do, 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 do. What's that game where Tempest, where you're going around in the circle?
Tempest, you go in a circle. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's like slowly you're getting further up by going to each side of the big deal as you go around.
Yeah.
And destroying stuff. That's my brain. You're just steadily going around topic until we finally hit the right one. Speaking of the right one.
Yeah. Time to start?
Let's start.
All right.
Hello and welcome to another exciting episode of the Full Spectrum D&D podcast. My name is Trey.
I am Rungren.
And yeah, today's Thanksgiving.
It is.
Probably get that out of the way first. Happy Thanksgiving.
Yes, if you celebrate Thanksgiving, I hope you had a good one.
Yeah. And it also means that, hey, the chat might be a little bit slower than normal.
Yeah.
That's okay. We'll have this bot up where you can watch it later.
Right.
But we want to do something a little bit special. We've both been playing D&D for a long time.
Yeah.
You've been playing a little bit longer than I have.
Yeah.
And so, we wanted to talk about, I'm sure I know what message is going to come up in a second here. We want to talk about some of the older editions of D&D and a little bit of 5e. Maybe even a little bit of 1D. I don't know.
Yeah.
What we're thankful for with D&D, right?
Yeah. Would you really, when D&D, neither one of us could really talk about the first itinerations of, because you had D&D,
YouTube chat is always slow.
And then AD&D.
Champion was the first box, right?
Maybe.
It was the white box. I've seen it on store shelves. All right.
Yeah. I don't know what that was.
I've seen it on store shelves, but I've never looked at it.
Well, see, it's always been in, because I started second advanced Dungeons and Dragons.
Right.
Which second is, anyway. So I've always gone back and looked at it. I've never played the first edition, where you have dwarf as a class, elf as a class.
Don't hurry up, Rungren.
Oh, now you want to be clever. Now you want to be clever.
Yeah, no, first edition's weird.
It is.
Acrobat is a class.
Now, is that in first edition, or is that the right before we get second edition?
That might be right before AD&D. Yeah,
that's weird.
Because I know there were some supplements for first edition, and those supplements to first edition wound up becoming the stuff that second edition 3 bring in. Like Greyhawk, it wasn't called Greyhawk then, but it was like the proto Greyhawk.
Okay, yeah.
The Tomb of Horrors was in first edition. The Tomb of Annihilation was in first edition.
Yes.
The Yawning Deep was in first edition.
Some of those been around a while.
Yeah. And they've changed drastically over the years.
Yes, a little bit.
We definitely don't call it the Yawning Deep anymore. What's the name? I just slipped my mind.
I don't know.
Avernus. We call it Avernus now.
Yeah.
It's not a mukbang tonight. We're going to be eating knowledge.
Okay.
Yeah, so we both have like a lot of experience with different editions, but neither of us really touched first edition all that much.
Yeah.
But I do think there's some cool stuff about first edition. Obviously, it's the progenitor, right? DT Foods, that's very
Yes.
right. It's the progenitor, and
Yeah.
everything comes from it.
Yeah.
What we have now only exists because of it, so we got to give it props.
Right. And there was stuff in there, and then like, and this, I know this was in second edition as well. A little bit like your rogue got experience for treasure.
Yeah.
You know, go count the gold pieces.
Yeah.
Add that to your experience on that. So there is some stuff. In some ways, it's completely unrecognizable.
For sure.
From the other editions,
For
but
sure.
there is some stuff in there that a core foundation, so to speak,
Yeah.
to build the game.
One of the weird, cool things I love about first edition that I don't think should ever come back is breaking magic items for XP.
Yeah, yeah.
I think there is something really clever about the idea of, I'm playing an orc. I could use this battle axe,
yeah.
or I could break it and gain 3 levels.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, all right.
But having that rule, though, it kind of makes randomized treasure a lot more useful.
Oh, for sure. Get a magic item nobody can use in the party?
Yeah.
All right, let's break it.
Yeah, break it, get some experience points. Come on, people.
Well, and I think that's an important thing to mention with like first edition D&D as well, is that everybody leveled differently.
Yes.
Each class got different amounts of XP required to
Right.
level up. And so you could have your rogue, I believe, leveled up faster than everything else.
Mm-hmm.
And your wizard leveled up really slowly.
So did the elf.
Yeah. But they got really strong level up bonuses, whereas the rogue didn't get as strong level up bonuses individually, but over the course of levels, balanced out.
Yeah. Yeah.
Would you go back and play first edition now?
Just as an experiment. I
Yeah.
don't think I'd want to do a campaign.
I agree.
But like a session in it just to check it out. I think so.
Yeah.
I think so. What's that?
I don't really have anything else to say about first edition.
No. I was trying to run over it. You know, everything was I can't remember the other guy. I remember Gary Gygax, but I can't
Yeah.
remember the other guy.
I can't either.
I don't even know if first edition was under TSR.
I don't think it was. I think second edition was AD&D,
Yeah.
but I don't think first edition was.
That's interesting.
And I know Wizards doesn't seem like they have any plan of getting it. Putting posters up.
Nice.
Posters
Nice.
are good. Also, real quick, I just wanted to mention while we're talking about editions, I really wish D&D Beyond had the ability to play old editions on there. I understand why
Yeah.
it doesn't, but it'd
Yeah.
be really cool to have a resource like that for each edition. And there are some websites for 3.5
Right.
that work just like that, basically.
Yeah.
But there's not for like first edition, second edition,
Yeah.
third edition, fourth edition, So that would be Cook, Faith. That would be Cook.
Cool even. Look, you keep putting the Korean guys up on your wall. All right, be careful, Will. So what year did second edition start?
Yeah, let's pull this up here. Let's see.
We can find that.
D&D second edition.
I got
Because
rid
we're
of all
talking
my
about
second edition
cool
stuff. This is the only second edition book. I'm gonna go over to the camera.
How did we know they were K-pop? Well, yeah.
I'm gonna give him a flash to the inside.
Go for it. Go for it.
No, we're not gonna do it. It's kind of boring. See, here we go. There we go. Oh man, it's so good. You can see the layout's a little bit different. I'm gonna talk about this in a minute. I just want y'all to see. The picture, this blue line across the top, and the name's done this way. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. That is second edition.
Yep.
Now I can talk about this a little bit.
So second edition was 1977 was when the Monster Manual came out.
Mm-hmm.
And 1979 was when the DMG came out. So in that span of 3 years
Wow.
is when each got 6th in the final guild ranking in Unleashed Blading. Very nice, sir. Congratulations. But that was for AD&D. Original D&D was 1974 for the first volume.
Yeah.
So
I wasn't even born yet. I got 2 more years before I was born. Let's do that. Now this, I'm gonna harp on, or I'm gonna praise second edition,
yeah, go for it.
and I'm sure there's some Let me put on my rose-colored glasses, get out my nostalgia pipe, and enjoy this. I like this setup for monsters.
I agree.
I don't necessarily think 5th edition's bad.
Right.
I think this is better. And we're talking about, you show the names off at the top just because that's the way they did it onto that. But if I go down where the stats are, do we have a 5th edition?
Yeah.
I got one behind me if I need to get it.
Yeah.
Let me grab it.
I don't have one in my nondescript stack of books that definitely don't have anything else to do with what we're doing right now.
Okay.
Also, just a quick aside, having looked at 2nd edition's Monster Manual again, because I found this earlier while I was trying to look through stuff, the pictures in 5th edition Monster Manuals may be like nicer, but there's something about these old pictures that is just wonderful.
Yeah. Yes. And the Firbolg. Ooh, I gotta check that real quick because that is completely different.
Yeah.
The Firbolg.
Yeah, that's a very different creature in 2nd
Yes.
edition. I don't know if it's in the base Monster Manual or not.
It may not be. No, I don't like it. Okay. Ugh. The big red-haired giant.
Yep.
Not some kind of.
Why K-pop? That's a question that I ask the internet every day. Man.
Look.
And I listen to K-pop.
I don't. I live in the South, so I don't even drink pop.
I accidentally wore my K-pop-like shirt today. This is very similar to what they would wear.
Faith Ann, as a big fan, she really likes some of the K-pop songs.
Yeah.
And is it BTS?
I think BTS is her
I am
favorite.
so out of touch. I realize I should probably know that before I talk about anything on the internet.
That is very true. I do like J-pop and J-rock way more.
Right.
Radio is like top 5 bands for me.
But I'm gonna looking at these two. I like the way that these are set up because you get all your okay. 5th edition starts out with armor class, hit points, and speed, and it gives you stats. Right.
Yeah.
That's not the way this one's set up. The first line you get is a climate terrain, where they're from.
Yeah.
Then how frequent they are.
Yeah.
There's no.
It is first a creature, then a thing to fight.
Right. There is no challenge rating to that, right?
Which one is your favorite then? Just curiosity. Please continue.
No, okay. Okay. Is it black pink? I don't know why I know these.
Golden Child and Victon. Okay.
Okay, I don't know those.
I
No
don't
BTS.
either.
Is black pink one?
I don't know.
Okay. Before I embarrass myself anymore, we're gonna get back to the ND.
I listened to twice.
So I like the setup in second edition. I think
She does love Blackpink.
okay. I think overall in second edition is more technical. Now I'm gonna have to listen to you for 3, 5, and 4. Or 3.
Yeah,
3,
third,
5,
3, 5, and 4.
and 4.
Yeah.
I'll let you talk about that. But I think second edition is the most detailed
Yeah.
and the most technical on that.
Second edition, from my perspective, as somebody that played very little of it, was where D&D went from, and again, I didn't play first edition,
Yeah.
but it's where D&D went from a game to a world. Second edition is where you get Spelljammer. Second edition is where you get Greyhawk.
Well, yeah, you get Greyhawk and you got Forgotten Realms.
Mm-hmm.
Which, yeah, is second edition. Forgotten Realms was the one I knew.
Yeah.
I played with Elements of the Mage and things like that.
Yeah.
But I think for me, going from second to fifth, I like the fifth edition rules, obviously. I like what they're doing with D&D 1.
Yeah.
We've talked about that already a little bit. But there was something a little more detailed, a little more customizable.
Yeah.
In second edition, because you didn't get like okay, you can use simple weapons.
Right.
You can use martial weapons. You know, it's like, no, you have WP longsword. You
Right.
have a weapon
You specifically are good with a
longsword.
longsword.
Yeah. You had weapon proficiencies and non-weapon proficiencies. And I think for most, on average, you started out with 2 weapon proficiencies and 3 non-weapon proficiencies.
Yeah.
Now, there wasn't a skill list.
Right.
And stuff like that, which I think 5th edition makes a lot of this is a lot. What?
She's telling Twitch to stop. I don't know
Oh.
what for, but.
Okay. The weird red line running through all the words.
Oh, yeah, I can fix that.
Yeah.
Let me
It's
do
okay.
this.
It's okay.
I'll make it a little bit easier for you.
I'll look over on the other side. I got it. I don't know why I was looking
It's
there.
really small, though.
There were also things in second edition, like if you rolled an 18 strength, you got you rolled and you were, I think it was only a couple classes. I think maybe some kind of fighter class, maybe barbarian, where you rolled exceptional strength.
Yeah.
Where you had a percentile dice that you rolled on the 18. After the 18, you kept that number out to the side.
Yeah.
So if you had, 1899 was about the best that's the best you could get.
Yeah.
On that. But I think the stats have always been the same.
Yeah.
That's one thing that's not going to change as we talk about, the strength. No.
They have changed.
Yes, because you used to have comeliness.
Yeah.
You
well,
don't-
in 3, 3, 5, and 4 also added in some weird ones.
Okay, so they added some there.
Yeah. Because we don't have fortitude or reflex anymore.
No, no, I don't know those. I do not know those. Like I said, I vaguely remember comeliness.
Yeah.
Where charisma is how people like you. Comeliness was actually your physical appearance.
Yeah. Keeps trying to update. Well, tell it to stop more. Good job. Keep it up.
But there was also second edition got so crazy with the amount of supplements for it.
Yeah.
Because by the time second edition was finished, before they went into third, and I believe there's a pretty good break between the last printing of second and
That's what I was pulling up right here.
But you had a fighter's handbook, you had a rogue's handbook,
Yeah.
psionics handbook.
Yep.
We should have psionics.
Yeah, each class had its own handbook in second.
Yeah. What's that? They look really cool.
I want to touch on real quick from the dates too.
Yeah.
Second edition got Advanced Dungeons and Dragons got a second edition of itself, AD&D 2, in 1989.
Yeah.
And that persisted until the year 2000.
Yeah.
Which is when third edition comes out.
Yeah. And that's like I said, there was something about that second edition where it's like, okay, you have race and class.
Yeah.
You can really, really customize your character.
Mm-hmm.
You down, you pick the weapon, you pick his look, you pick your armor. But one of the drawbacks in second edition, like multi-classing, okay. Let's talk about that. Because in second edition, humans could multi-class, metahumans could dual class.
Right.
And you had to meet requirements. And it was really weird the way they did it. And you had to spend some time getting experience in order to do that.
Yeah.
They kind of went together. But I don't know if they had THACO before, but second edition is where, THACO comes.
Yeah, for sure.
And you had that THACO, THACO. Actually, it's THAC 0.
Right, it's 0.
Is the to hit armor class 0. And you did a bunch of calculus and then rolled a 20.
Yeah.
That's it. But there was something in second edition that I don't think it holds up in fifth edition. Like in fifth edition, yes, a 20th level character, 20th level mob is going to wipe a first level one.
Yeah.
But there's a chance for that first level to hit that 20th level.
Yeah.
That's not going to happen in second edition.
Right. Yeah, the math just won't.
Yeah, it won't. You would have to roll negatives.
Yeah.
You can't do that on a die. So second edition I think it got a lot more technical, gave a lot more customization in it. They expanded worlds.
Yeah.
Greyhawk, Forgotten Realms. You talked about Spelljammer, Dark Sun. In my mind, this this starts with lots of these. I don't know if there's been an added Dragonlance, of course.
Well, Ravenloft was second edition.
Ravenloft was second edition. We had so many expansions, and it was there was no computers. But there was so much. Also, I think it was a smaller team. Now this was under TSR at this time, so TSR had the publishing rights to put out these books. Gary Gygax was still really heavily involved. Yes,
100%
in this. So the second edition for me is okay. Now we're getting real customization.
Right.
You're limited on your skills.
Yeah.
What you can do. Languages were a little bit different in that. I don't know how it's done in 3.5 or 4, but languages were based off your intelligence. So your intelligence modifier. So if you had +5, say, you got 5 languages.
Interesting.
Yeah, you would know 5 languages. Yeah. So +3 more languages.
That's kind of cool.
Yeah. So it gave you, in a way, it gave you a reason to use it, to maybe to think about your stats a little bit differently of how you can do it and set up. But that one too, you said till 2000?
Yeah, which is when third edition
When
happened.
third edition came out. So,
Before we move to third, I have to ask the same question.
okay.
All the DC, yeah, all the DCs.
Oh, the DCs.
Would you go back and play second edition now?
Yes, I would. I would go back and play second edition. Might even do a little campaign in that, and just kind of go through it.
Yeah.
I think second edition is a very, very solid
Agree.
system. It is more complicated than any of the other ones I know.
Oh yeah,
You know, as far as what
It's
you pick
deep.
down. Yeah. And go down, like I said, your weapon season going through. And yeah, a lot more technical than the other editions I played, was fifth
Right.
edition on through that. So I would go back. I would like to go back and play just to remind myself how aggravating Thaco is.
yeah, for sure. Because
Nothing.
every once in a while I Jones for some Thaco, and then I start trying to do the math and go, oh yeah.
Yeah.
So in the year 2000, we got third edition. Now this is a 3.5 monster manual, but 3.5 goes with third edition, and we're going to talk about that here. But third edition was a thing. Third edition is when they went, hey, people really like that Baldur's Gate game for PC.
Yeah.
What if we made D&D more like the video games? And a lot of people didn't like that. But I'm going to tell you right now, 3.5 is still my favorite edition of D&D.
Okay.
We're going to get to 3.5, but first we got to talk about third edition.
Mm-hmm.
Third edition went, hey, let's get rid of Thaco. They already were using D20s,
Yeah.
but they decided to coin the phrase the D20 system because now everything you do is based on a D20. You no longer roll a
Right.
D6 to try and get anything. It's D20s. Even leveling, like back then, even rolling a character, you rolled D20s. You didn't roll D6s.
You know, I'm thinking back to that time. Now, by the time that came out, I dropped second edition. I dropped D&D, and I was
Right.
playing Magic the Gathering, going
Yeah.
to tournaments and stuff like that. But right before that came out, so
Yeah.
that's where I was. But White Wolf had come out. You know, there was Vampire, there was Werewolf. White Wolf had come out with a bunch of games that were D10 systems, where
Yeah.
all you use is 10. Shadowrun was out; they had a D6 system.
Yeah.
And I think there was another one called, what is it? Generic GURPS.
Yeah, GURPS.
Generic Universal Role Playing System, which I believe used the set
Yeah,
like D&D.
yeah.
But there was the bigger games at that time, because honestly, at that time, like the Magic Gathering come out, D&D kind of dropped off.
Right.
If you wanted to get into it at that time, there's
There's so many books you had to get.
250 books you had to get,
Yeah.
or whatever.
It's ridiculous.
Going through that. But again, I guess they simplified the dice rolling
Just
system.
use the 20. I understand. 3.5 is the way to go in that regard, in my opinion.
Yeah.
Because that's what it does. Use a 20 for everything. It makes
Yeah.
it simple. A lot of people didn't like going to that simple
Right.
from second edition. But the transition was a little rocky. Simplifying everything all of a sudden without spending a lot of time playtesting the new simple methods meant that some stuff was just broken. One of the things they did was all of your everything was based on your stats. So your armor class was based on your constitution score.
Okay.
Your initiative was based on your dexterity. Everything was just flat. Hey, how much of this do you have? That's how much you get. Which meant that if you were a wizard that had 12 constitution, you had more HP and more armor class than a barbarian that had 7 constitution. Because there were no class bonuses. It was all based on stats. Now, obviously, that meant that everything was busted
Yeah.
because you could do anything you wanted.
So even the skills
Yeah.
were
All stats.
Everything. Okay.
And because none of it was tied to class or anything like that, you could just gamify the whole system. And that's what it was. It was a video game, right?
Yeah.
The problem, of course, meant that there was no reason at that point to play anything but the most powerful classes because you just made the right stats for it and you were good. Feats were introduced in 3rd edition, which also meant that you could make your stuff even better by using feats to give you higher stats because that's what feats did back then.
Yeah.
To give you higher stats, to give yourself more AC. Yeah, you were going for the 9 trillion damage, right?
Yep.
Like that's what you want.
Well, honestly, not like I said, I've never played it. 3 and 3.5 is where I hear about combos.
Yeah.
Like do this and this, and you're gonna be
Yeah.
yeah.
3.5 fixed a lot of that, but it didn't fix it all. 3.5 has like 3.5's attempt to fix that was to tie everything back to classes and to go, hey, now there's prestige classes. Now multi-classing is a thing that everybody can do.
Okay.
But everything's tied to classes now. So you need requisite stats to be able to take a class, and that includes at level 1.
Yeah.
You need requisite stats to be able to take a class at level 1. But if you have those requisite stats, you can take your next level in the next class or whatever.
So that was a kind of a holdover.
Yeah.
And from a second edition, because you had that, and then you had like the generic classes, right? Fighter,
Right.
rogue, all that, and then you had I don't think they called them prestige classes, but then
Right.
you had they don't want subclasses either, but you had the ranger, whatever,
Yeah.
and those would be trickier if you're using you had to have the prerequisite.
1D&D would call them expert classes.
Yeah.
But the funny thing about prestige classes is they didn't exist in 3, right? But 3.5 brought them in. And they weren't like, hey, this is a better barbarian. It was, hey, this is a way you can spec your character in. You have to be at least a certain level to hit these prerequisites. And then you no longer level in your original class. You now just level in this prestige class. So like, Lore Master was 5 levels. You could take 5 levels of Lore Master, which meant the prerequisites made you have to roughly be a level 15 level 15 character before you could take that prerequisite.
Okay.
And then you could take that for your last 5. This is also where we get a lot of psionics coming in, because Eberron is introduced in 3rd edition.
See, it sounds like they dropped psionics, because psionics came in, because I don't think Eberron was in 2nd edition.
It wasn't. Eberron came in 3rd.
So Dark Sun is where the psionics are. And
Right.
that was a big selling point of
Yes,
Dark Suns, right?
absolutely.
And the psionics handbook, all that tied in to Dark
Archer
Suns.
to Bard. Yeah, pretty much. Like going from Archer to Bard in 14. Yeah. Now you are no longer that original class. Now you are the prestige class.
Right. So it sounds like they kind of dropped it coming in and then put it back
3.5
in.
brought it back.
Okay.
Yeah. Because psionics was something that people liked, and they went deep. I've got the monster manual here, and it's cool. We got, like, armor class for a Gale is 25, plus 1 dex, plus 14 natural armor class,
Okay.
because natural creatures had their own math on how their natural armor worked based on what they were. Touch 11, that's the distance they can touch you for touch spells.
Okay.
Flat-footed 24, flat-footed movement 24, or 14 plus 1 dex plus 3 deflection for touch abilities. So they have a 14 to dodge touches.
Yeah.
And then flat-footed, as long as they're flat-footed, they have a 24. If they're not flat-footed, they have a 13. Like, that's
Flat-footed.
3.5 made it a video game,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
11
Feet.
So
Feet.
it's a number. It's feet, yeah.
Yeah.
But
11 yards.
they also have
Holy
like a base attack and a base grapple score. That was a big thing in 3 and 3.5. Of everybody had their own built-in grapple, because grapple was a full thing.
Yeah.
You can take a feat for improved grappling. No wearing heels. No, you got to be flat-footed. You're going to hear the word flat-footed a lot in the next couple minutes. You had special stuff in 3 and 3.5, which I love now. You don't want to be touched? Well, that's too bad. And this, again, 3.5 is my baby. Right, 3.5 is my love. Your basic attack, plus 4 on a Holy Greatsword, plus 21 melee. So it's 25, plus 25 when they swing.
Okay.
It's pretty good, right? Or they could do a full attack, which is where they don't do anything else on their turn and they just do that attack. It's in reference to, like, can't be mounted. It's your grappling score and your touch scores were important because touch spells didn't work like they do now.
Yeah.
They weren't, hey, you roll to hit with a touch spell. It was, if they didn't have a high enough touch DC or AC, you could just touch them.
It sounds kind of interesting, because it sounds to me, because, okay, roughly, if you go back to the very first one, you had templates for your characters.
Right.
I mean, you did customize a little bit, but you kind of had a template to go over.
Yeah.
2nd edition, not so much, kind of idea.
Right.
And it feels like there's, because of the way it's set up, you could almost make a template for the character here
Yeah,
to go off of.
absolutely.
Okay.
Well, again, this is a monster stat block, but like they take out 5 foot space, and they have 5 foot reach. Everything has space amounts. Everything has reach amounts.
Yeah.
They have special qualities. They can alter their form. Damage reduction 10 from evil, cold, iron, and dark. So instead of, and those were all damage types, instead of, and specifically like cold iron is a different thing.
Yeah.
Instead of, hey, they have resistance, it's they flat reduce 10 damage from whatever damage they take of these. And again, it's all video game style. That's what it was, That's what they were going for. But I want to do one more of these, and then I'm going to move it to the player side.
Okay.
Because you were looking at dragons earlier. The way that 3.5 did dragons is a lot like the way 2nd edition does it, where it goes, hey, here's their environment, here's how often they show up around here. Their treasure amount is triple the standard treasure amount because they have a horde.
So okay. So the treasure amount, it says treasure, it just says triple amount or whatever?
Triple standard.
That's weird. Okay, because in 2nd edition, you would have your treasure.
Yeah.
DQ times 3.
Right.
So you had Dairy Queen. I don't know why I did that. But D was a certain table, Q was another table, and the treasure table kind of overlapped each other.
Yeah.
Certain powerful things are going to have more letters to look at. Of that. But this just like this multiplies.
Yeah, there's a standard amount. This monster gives triple.
Okay.
And then this is where challenge rating comes in. It's 3rd edition.
Oh, okay.
And the challenge rating goes, hey, if it's a wormling, CR 3. If it's a very young, it's CR 5. And it just continues to go up to CR 25 for a great worm. And CR back then was 6 players at that level.
Oh, okay.
So if you had 4 players at that level, you added 2 to the number. If you had 2 players at that level, you added 4 to the number. Sorry, yeah.
4.
Where you always were able to play those numbers around. But what 3.5, because 3rd edition was completely removed in 2003 when 3.5 came out. Everything just became 3.5.
Yeah.
We no longer use 3rd edition. What they did is they went, hey, we have this new system and it's really cool. We're going to open it up where anybody can make a book in 3.5. And so we started getting things like Oriental Adventures, and there's a really weird offshoot. Somebody wanted to make Gundam but couldn't robot set for 3.5.
Okay.
With powered armor. Pathfinder 1st edition is a 3.5 supplement.
Oh, okay.
All of that is from the gamification of 3.5. Which fixed all the problems with the classes, made it where wizards actually got to pick their spells, made it where barbarians actually got more HP as they leveled. Like, it was, and it's all based around a hit die. So you didn't go, hey, when we go to rest, we're going to get, even though it's video gamey, right? It wasn't, hey, a long rest just fully heals you. It was a long rest lets you roll all your hit die and regain all your hit die. So if you have 5d8 for your hit die, you roll 5d8, that's the number you've recovered.
Yeah.
You also get your hit die back. So you can take a short rest later and spend them again.
Okay.
But when we get into the supplements, that's where stuff starts to get really interesting. Because each supplement came with individual classes.
Well, see, this was from 2nd edition, because the book you're holding, Oriental Adventures. Now, I remember the 2nd edition book. It's got one of the dogs with a samurai on it.
Yeah.
He's got a sword up. There's a ninja down in front of him with one of the chains.
Yeah,
with
the Kasarigama.
Thank you. Kasarigama up front through there. And that was, it gave...
Ice cream.
Ice cream. It gave, like Carter, which is Oriental Adventures is in Carter, which is...
Right.
You have the Forgotten Realms, and then on the other continent on that planet is Carter.
Right.
So that's where we would get, like, okay, here's your samurai in that setting.
Right.
You know, that here's your samurai, here's your ninja per se, your sensei, through that. So it's kind of they didn't completely abandon 2nd edition in this.
Right.
But they kept like a couple of the
they kept the ideas moving forward.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But the gameplay system was completely different.
Right. And with these additions, each time you got like, instead of, hey, here's a subclass for something, it's here's a brand new class. Samurai is a class. It's not a subclass of fighter. It's its own class.
Yeah.
And there's subclasses to it. You have like Shigenja. You have Wujins, which are casters on Myoji style casters. They added races. Here's the fox people. Here's the turtle people. Added feats. And each one of these had stuff like that. A bunch of new monsters. The problem was it started to become like second edition, where if you wanted to start DMing or playing 3.5, there were hundreds of books.
Yeah.
And somebody could go, hey, I want to bring this third-party book. I want to play this class. And the DM would go, all right, sure, it's official. But the problem is it wasn't official.
Yeah.
It's a 3.5 supplement that Wizards, who had purchased TSR, did not have to look through to approve.
Okay.
So some of it's busted.
Yeah.
And that's where, when we look back at 3.5, it has a reputation for, as you said, the combos. I could take a Wu-Jin and a Samurai in here, and just those two together are going to clear through anything they go up against. Because the Wu-Jin can cast haste. I need to talk about haste real quick. The Wu-Jin can cast haste on Samurais, who then get to attack 8 times in a turn.
Yeah.
You know, like, that's too much. Haste had a huge flaw, though, in 3rd edition that they fixed in 3.5, and it was a cool idea. Haste accelerated you, made you faster, but it cost you a year of your life for every turn. So you had to roll a fortitude save, which we're going to get to in a second.
Yeah.
Because it's also in 4th, so I'm going to talk about it there for both editions. Fortitude reflex. You had to roll a fortitude save to survive the shock of rapid aging. And if you failed that, you got an additional year.
Oh.
It's a really cool idea.
Yeah.
That unfortunately, if you're playing a Kinder or a Kobold or a Goblin, means that if you go 5 turns hasted, you could just die.
Right.
Of old age on the battlefield. And so 3.5 got away from that. 3.5 still makes you roll a fort save for it, but instead you get a level of exhaustion, which was new in 3.5.
Right.
That didn't exist until 3.5.
Okay.
Instead, before, I believe, 2nd edition was overburdened or something like that.
Yeah, you'd be overburdened with
yeah.
which in 2nd edition, it was all about negatives.
Yeah.
Or positives, right?
Yeah.
You got a +1, +5, -1, -5.
Yeah.
That's what that changed things through the path. Now, you know, we'll talk about 5th edition where everything's advantage and disadvantage, but before then it was, and I'm thinking that this was kind of the same way.
Yeah.
It was you're looking for, like, +1 is actually a big difference. It doesn't feel so big in 5th edition
Right.
as
It's
it did in the
huge
other.
difference here.
Yeah.
A big thing is surprise rounds in 3.5. That was one of the cool things that they added in, was on a surprise round, you get a +2 to your initiative. You don't automatically get a free turn. And you get a +2 to your damage.
Okay.
If you're flanking, you get a +2 to your damage. If you hit, you don't get an advantage. Because advantage didn't exist that way.
Right.
Flanking instead was something that was used constantly, like it is today.
Yeah.
But just to get higher damage numbers.
Yeah.
You know.
Well, in 2nd edition, it was like, okay, we're flanked. So you got one guy on this side, you got a +1.
Yeah.
You got another guy back here that's going to be and another +1.
Yeah.
And then another +1. So you could surround somebody and get those pluses.
Yeah.
But you weren't going to get, to roll 2 20s to see if you hit.
Also, big thing to mention, 3rd edition introduced confirming crits. And 3.5 kept that. So when you have people that are playing 3.5 and they go roll to confirm the crit, it's not that they don't like the new system. That's just what they're used to.
Right.
Like, you got to do it. You got to roll a d20, and if you get a 20, you got to roll another d20 and see if you get above a 10. If you do, you got a critical hit. If you didn't, it's just it's just a non-natural 20. It's just a 20 on the die.
Okay.
But that's 3.5. 3.5 is my favorite edition. If I ask myself the question, absolutely I'd play 3.5.
Yeah.
I'd play 3.5 again in a heartbeat.
Not 3.
Not 3.
But 3.5.
Never 3. Yes, 3.5.
Okay.
I would not play 3rd edition again if you paid me to play 3rd edition again. Unless you pay me. It's broken. It's too broken.
Yeah.
Unless you pay me a lot of money. Because, it's bad.
Yeah.
You play a wizard and you put everything in Constitution and you have 15 AC and 21 HP at level 1. You're just gonna win.
Yeah. Yeah.
You're just gonna win. And you may not know that many spells, because how many spell slots you had was tied to your wisdom. or your intelligence, depending on what cast you were doing. But it doesn't matter. Also, third edition ranger pets and druid pets did not get better as they leveled.
Oh no.
So they just were always bad after like second level.
Yeah. Second edition was the same way. It's like at a certain point, it's like, yes, okay, when you're starting out, you're like, yes, this pet is cool.
Yeah.
But then you go and play for a little while, and it's like, okay, you stay way back over there because you will die.
Yeah, I don't need you over here. You're here for other stuff. You're not here for combat. 3.5 got away with that and fixed it where everything levels like it's supposed to. Familiars get better for wizards in 3.5 as they level.
That's cool.
Understand, Dark.
Hey, Dark.
You still get to like exchange it for something else as you go.
Okay.
In 3.5, so like your cat can become a bird later on, but you can't have a bird at level 1. So I think 3.5 is still almost perfectly balanced. Problem is in what we're going to be talking about with 4th edition. Where's my PHP? Or my DMG? Here it is. The problem comes in the form of 3.5 introduced the Thri-kreen as a playable race and the prestige classes, and some of those problems hold on to cats can become a bird. 3.5. Some of those problems hold into 4th, which is where, hey, if you have a Thri-kreen that can wield 4 weapons and each weapon gets an attack, they may not get their bonuses, but that's okay. Each weapon gets an attack.
Yeah.
And then they play a monk, so then they can attack twice with each weapon. Then you're getting 8 swings a turn from that Thri-kreen alone. If you then put that Thri-kreen in 4th edition and make it a battle rager, it gets to attack 8 times a turn, and it gets to crit on 16s.
Oh, that's sick. You know, I think out of the editions, I think 4th is probably the most hated, I guess.
Yeah, it is.
Because in my mind, this may not be right. You talked about the first edition of Pathfinder being a supplement for 3.5.
Yeah.
But when 4th edition came out, Pathfinder became its own thing.
Yeah, it absolutely did. And that was the break, right? Thri-kreens are bug people. They're really cool.
Yeah.
That's where the break happened. D&D went, hey, we don't want our system to be as gamey. We want it to be more based around the adventure. And people that enjoyed 3.5 that liked the Pathfinder supplement went, I'm not going to continue to get support from 3.5. I'll go play Pathfinder instead.
Yeah.
And Pathfinder went from the gamey version of D&D to its own standalone thing.
Yeah. Well, this is not a perfect example because I'm not so familiar with it, but the Pathfinder was kind of like, it almost seemed like going back with the details of it almost seemed like they were looking at 2nd edition for their inspiration.
Yeah.
Not the later ones.
Right. It has so much of 3.5 in it that I can't ever hate Pathfinder, even though I don't love making characters in Pathfinder. I haven't tried Pathfinder 2e, making a character there yet. Pathfinder 3.5 is rough for character creation. It takes a little while to make a character. But from my little experience with Pathfinder 1e, it takes even more time to make a character there.
Yeah.
So, but I like 3.5 a lot. Again, that's my baby. I've spent the most time, however, with 4th edition. And I played a lot of 5th edition now. In Pathfinder 2e, I might take you up on that.
We do. We're trying to get through some D&D stuff. We got that in mind.
I played a lot of 5e now.
Yeah.
Mostly with you.
Yeah.
Though I've DM'd 5e campaigns on my own as well. But I DM'd from 4th edition from 2008 when it came out. I was on ground floor for 4th edition up until 5th edition came out. And I was still using this when the first 5th edition rules were coming out as a like supplement to go with it to use the new 5th edition rules when they were Unearthed Arcana. Because I really did. I enjoyed 4th edition a lot, but 4th edition is probably the most flawed. I said I would never play 3rd edition again because how busted it is. I would play 4th edition again, but man, is it busted. So 4th edition's biggest problem is the level cap's not 20, it's 30.
Oh, okay.
And
that's kind of weird. That's a weird place to start.
Yep.
Because in earlier days, or at least in second, like I said, 2nd edition for me, we're going through that. The level cap was 20. Later on, when Dark Sun came out,
Yeah.
is when you got 21 to 25.
Yeah.
Because everything was so much more powerful in Dark Sun.
Mm-hmm. That's very true, Dark. People hate 4th and love 3, 5, and 5, and they should. 3, 5's great. Like I said, that's my baby. That's my love.
Right.
And then I really like 5th edition. 5th edition's very good. But 4th edition has some problems, and the biggest part of it is they went, hey, our power levels are too offset. Everything needs to be rebalanced. We got Thrycreen over here breaking the game. We got people using magic items to completely devastate combat. Wizards are too strong. Sorcerers are too strong, because sorcerers were introduced in 3.5. They didn't exist before that.
Yeah.
And so, like, they're all too strong. No, I would absolutely touch 3.5 again.
Yeah.
I wouldn't touch 3rd edition.
Yeah.
3rd edition's different.
Yeah.
Clarify that.
Yeah.
I love 3.5. I'd play 3.5 again in a heartbeat. 4th edition went, hey, let's fix that by balancing everything else with powers. That's why a lot of people call it the Power Edition.
Okay.
So you're looking at encounter powers, and you've heard me use this language throughout the course of this podcast on accident. Encounter power, daily power, reaction power, move power.
Yeah.
It's all like, hey, while I'm doing this thing, what can I do?
Yes.
And between 3 and 3.5, 3.5 fixed a lot of the broken stuff that 3 had.
Yeah.
It made it where classes were actually playable again. And everybody wasn't just playing wizards.
3 didn't
with
get play tested, I don't
14
think.
Constitution.
They put out 3 and everybody play tested and griped about it, and then they're like, okay, now we'll do 3.5.
It's the first time that, like, enjoy your will, Mel. Will, enjoy your meal, Will.
Yes.
Retake. It's the first time that an edition was updated within 3 years.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh,
Yeah.
yeah, maybe we messed this up. But no, it may not seem like a problem, right? What's wrong with encounter powers? What's wrong with daily powers? 4th edition made everything a chore. 4th edition went, hey, to balance everything, we have to, like, laser focus in on combat. We have to make combat super good. And so to make that work, what we're going to do is we're going to make sure that everybody has class powers, they have a move action, they have an attack action, they have a bonus action.
See, this feels to me like going back to the template thing. Like, okay, you're not. Yes, you can customize your character, but really, it's not. I don't know how to explain it. Everything kind of falls on this one thing.
It does, and what it turned into is everybody started just playing the same classes that had something for everything. You're going to play a monk because then you're a fighter or a barbarian because then you have a move action and a bonus action and an attack action every turn.
So what about? So in 3 and 3.5, everything was based off your tributes.
Well, 3.5 was classes.
I mean classes.
Yeah.
But with that, but I mean you're still not skills.
Right.
Your skills are based off that.
Skills
right?
come in 4th.
So you get skills. Like I was talking about in 2nd edition, where you picked out your weapon proficiency.
Yeah.
1 or 2 of those. 4 maybe if you're a fighter, and then you had non-weapon proficiencies. That was your skills you were good at.
Mm-hmm.
And do you pick your skills in this one?
No, they give you skills. But you also have, how do I word this? You get, like, class features that are also your skills. Like a warlord, which was a class, by the way. Warlord was its own class.
Yeah.
Got combat leader and commanding presence. So that gave them persuasion. And that gave them deception.
Okay.
Because they were a combat leader. You also got action points. Your class determined how many action points you got. You could spend an action point to do a special maneuver or a special power or a special action. And so let me read off this list for you.
Okay.
These are the different, like, base powers for your class powers. At will powers. You get to choose one when you choose a class. You get a free at will. You get to pick it. Every class has one of these.
Okay. And
whenever you hear me talk about in 1D&D, I want fighters, barbarians, monks to have more things they can do in combat, that's because of this.
Okay.
Encounter powers, you choose one of a level up to the monster's level whenever you're DMing and picking a monster, or if you're a class, you choose one from the list and you get more as you go up. For daily powers, you choose one of a level up to the monster's level if you're DM, or again, you get a daily as you go through your class features. It doesn't matter how many fights you have in a day, you only get to use that daily power once.
Yeah.
utility powers, again, monster level, or as a class, you get one.
Your crit magnet.
Nice. Nice.
Yeah, you kind of sound like a little bit like a glass cannon to me.
Uh-huh.
Which I understand that.
It happens. But where this all comes together is, hey, I have something I can do every turn. And
Right.
that's the good thing about 4th edition. No matter what situation I'm in, if I'm grappled, I'm going to use my bonus action to break free of the grapple. I'm going to use my move action to move away.
Okay.
If I'm prone, I'm going to use my bonus action to stand up. I'm going to use my move action to move back to the target I'm going to attack with my attack action. But again, the problem became you always played something that could do something while it was doing it. Because if your wizard has an action to cast and a bonus action, they're going to ready their next spell because you had to do that.
Yeah.
And then move, they just move. But the barbarian has, as a move action, I'm going to dervish. So anything in my path getting hit.
Yeah.
Or the fighter has, as a move action, I'm going to thunderhoof step. So anything between me and where I'm moving is getting hit with thunder damage. As an attack action, I'm going to attack. As a bonus action, I'm going to attack again. You know, it made it where you went, well, why would I ever play these other classes?
Yeah.
When I could always do something cool and not just always have options. And so I'm going to get into some of the weirder stuff here in just a second. But 4th edition was the most slog, I guess. 20 outside of combat, 21 in combat. 128 or 112 HP. That's not too bad. Not too bad.
Yeah.
But it was the most slog in combat because every turn, everybody's trying to utilize all three of those things at all times. And so combat can go for hours. And you had to have a grid. And you had to have miniatures. Because otherwise you couldn't keep up with what everybody was doing.
Okay, yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Hey, for my bonus action, I'm going to Misty Step 30 feet this way. And then I'm going to move action 30 foot that way. And then I'm going to cast Electrocute back. You know, like, it was so much. 2-3 hits because you get crit so often. I mean, it does happen, unfortunately.
Dice tell a story sometimes.
They do. But on the cool side, you could have, like, hey, I'm going to use my daily power. And my daily is the ability to regain 80 HP.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So
yeah.
I'm on the front lines. I'm about to drop. My daily brings me back up 80. Or the barbarian had a daily. I'm going to get 2 rages back right now.
That's sometimes a story. Yes. Yes, that's sometimes a story.
Dailies were really cool. This 4th edition DMG allowed you to play milestone.
Yeah.
So after every 2 encounters, people got their dailies back.
Okay.
And if you wanted to run epic campaigns, you had to do that because otherwise players would not survive.
Right.
Like characters would just die. This was a cool idea, right?
Yeah.
It has so many cool things in it.
Well, I can see the you talked about feats earlier coming in. I can see it's like they try to make every action you take, you have, they didn't call it a feat, but you had a feat to go with it.
Yeah, pretty much.
Interesting.
The problem is it sucks. Like, I love 4th edition because of the ideas.
Right.
But 4th edition sucks.
Yeah.
It is such a slog to get through any encounter. It is all built around combat. That's what it's made for. It is not made for RP. It is not made... You can RP, but it's not made for that.
Right.
And they went the other way from 3.5 when it comes to supplements. Because they went, hey, we have too many for 3.5, so we're gonna do some. The Adventurer's Vault for equipment. Dark Sun, bring in psionics. Manual of the Plains, bring in Spelljammer. That's kind of it. So
yeah.
Like they just stopped, and I think if 4th had gotten a 4.5. I think people would still be playing 4th today.
Right.
4.5. But why would you ever touch 4th today?
Yeah.
When 5th edition does everything 4th is trying to do but better.
Right.
Hey, you don't have encounter powers. Hey, you don't have daily powers, but you do have stuff you can use once an encounter.
Yeah.
You do have stuff you can use once a long rest.
Right.
Like, which is effectively the same thing, but better for the player, you know?
Yeah. Yeah. Like I said, in my mind, fourth edition inadvertently launched Pathfinder
Yeah.
because
did. It
it
absolutely
was
did.
so disdained.
It absolutely did. People went, hey, I want to go back to 3.5,
Yeah,
but I want new content. Pathfinder's where I need to go.
it does, and these books are expensive.
They are.
And we're talking, yes, by the time we're getting to fourth edition now, sure, there might have been it was ability to get digital copies, PDFs or whatever, but I don't think it was a main. I don't think D&D was doing that.
No, it wasn't. This was 2008 when 4th edition came out.
Right.
So
people were just happy to see cats on the internet.
Yeah. And like I agree with everything you're saying, but the game needed more to keep it going.
Yeah.
And if they just done, I think, I'm gonna be honest, I'm gonna mask off here and people might get upset with me. 5th edition I think has too many supplements coming out all at once.
Yeah.
If I could get like one supplement a year, realistically that's all I need. If I'm doing a new campaign every year with a new supplement, we're doing fine.
That's true.
If at most I'd say every half a year,
Exactly, Dark. Yeah. And I don't think like the PDFs and the stuff, that's like D&D Beyond with what we're looking at now, that you don't have to have a book.
Yeah, you can
at
play
all.
off there.
You can do all of that, but yeah, I don't. It was, and it's set up to do that.
Yeah.
Right.
But look at just in the last year what we got for 5th edition, and I know the point of this episode is not to complain about 5th edition.
Right.
But like Ravenloft, Strixhaven, Radiant Citadel, Spelljammer, Dragonlance.
Yeah.
Mordekainen's.
Right.
Yeah, I think that's too much.
Yeah.
Because there's no way, even if we wanted to do some of that cool new stuff, we got campaigns already going,
Yeah.
Like, we can't just stop those campaigns to do the new stuff. Whereas if a book came out like once a year.
Right. Well, and D&D Beyond, what I do like about that, and we're not sponsored.
Right.
I just happen to like it, is you don't have to buy the whole book.
Yeah.
I think so. And look, in second edition, you had your main books. They were hardback. Mm-hmm. Second edition had softback books. All your psionic, your fighter,
all that was
softback, and it was a lot cheaper.
Well, and that's the cool thing, Dark, about these books, is I can take this book that I bought for $7.03 online, and I can take this book and use it in 5e.
Yeah.
Because all I have to do is take this stat block for this monster, for this tackle. Oh.
Secret notes.
Yeah, I don't want to show you that yet.
I miss maps too.
All I have to do is take this stat block for this taco and convert it over to 5e. And then I have an octopus monster in 5e that costs me $7, along with all the rest of the stuff I'm getting in here.
Mm.
And that's where, like, for me, people will say, well, just play 5e, right? And playing 5e is way easier, you know?
Yeah.
But there's cool stuff in all of these that are still worth it, you know?
Yeah.
Oh, you want Taco Bell? Like, in here is a map of Sigil. In this. There's no map of Sigil in 5e.
Yeah.
But this book, when it sold originally, was $30. You probably get it for like 12 now.
But yeah, maybe even cheaper. There's something about we're kind of getting to the 5e part, which we probably won't talk about too long. But
this is Oriental Adventures.
Yeah, Oriental Adventures.
3.5.
Like that. Set in Karatur.
Mm-hmm.
I miss Karatur.
Real quick, I did just want to hit on. I didn't touch reflex saves, fortitude saves.
Yeah.
Reflex was dexterity saves.
Yeah.
But reflex was an additional proficiency you could gain, and could also be used for psionics, so that you could dodge psionics.
Oh.
If you rolled a high enough reflex save, your reflexes could save you from getting hit by that sonic blast. Fortitude was your mental fortitude.
Yeah.
And would be rolled for sonic attacks that required a save. But it would also be used for things like fears. So that you rolled a fortitude save instead of a constitution save or a wisdom save.
Okay.
It was basically 2 additional stats on top of everything else. Which were dropped going into 5th edition. But I actually kind of liked reflex and fortitude. I think reflex was a great way to go, hey, it's not a straight dex check, because you can use dexterity for anything.
Yeah.
This is a test of your reflexes.
Right.
You know.
Find that interesting.
Anyway, please continue. 5th edition.
Well, I was just thinking, like in 5th edition, I'm looking back, like going over these old editions. 5th edition, which I like 5th edition.
I do
it's
too.
a very simplified D&D.
I do too.
It's a very simplified D&D. That they've got some good stuff for it. A little bit silly, but there was attention. There was a detail going back to to 2nd edition, and I'm kind of seeing it in a couple of these when you're talking about like the when you were given something like this is you get a history of it, and you get setups for it.
Yeah.
I don't know. So 4th edition would be a play again.
Yeah, but
Right.
I'm going to play 4th edition again with the intention of showing people what 4th edition is,
Yeah.
and I'm going to heavily tweak it as we play.
Okay.
Because I do think there's a glimmer of something great there. But if I have the choice, I'm playing 3, 5, or 5.
Okay. Makes sense.
And for you, it's
2nd and 5. Yeah.
Yeah.
2nd and 5. The one question, a little off topic, because we're about ready to wrap up. The do you think we will get Dark Sun in 5th edition?
I think we will. I think that it has kept coming out over the years, and it has stayed when things like Greyhawk have fallen behind because
Yeah.
it has that lasting power.
Sort of. I think
Dark Sun.
2nd edition was the most customizable, but 5 is just really organized well, really, and it does set it up. And you do. I think from what I've been hearing tonight, I think 5th has more customized options out of the ones he was talking about.
I think 3, 5 lets you do more with your character, but 5th edition is the easier to make a character in and to get them going.
Yeah.
Like by the end of 3, 5, you're in epic levels. You got boons, you got epic feats, you got prestige classes. Your character is exactly what you wanted them to be. Whereas in 5th edition, you may have to give up things here or there to make them who you wanted to be.
Right.
But they're going to be much easier to get there.
Yeah. Yeah. All right, man. That was kind of went through a history of D&D almost.
Yeah, we sure did. How easy is 5e versus 1D&D? I'd have to play 1D&D to be able to tell you for sure.
And for what it looks like, the character creation is going to be about the same.
Yeah.
In that. Yeah.
I think 1D&D is a little bit easier to make a character in because they give you your feet and stuff tied into your background.
Your background, yeah.
But it's not by a huge difference. It's
Right.
very slight.
Right.
Yeah, I had a lot of fun talking about these. I like talking about and of course I got to talk about 3, 5, so I'm happy,
Excellent, sir.
We're back tomorrow. We're going to be painting.
Yeah.
We're going to finish up that sister battle that I messed up last 2 weeks ago, and then we're going to start on the next one. We got to get those painted, and then we'll be back Monday with Immo Mondays.
Mm-hmm.
Back Tuesday, of course, with the regular podcast. Some changes going on, so these pods are very helpful. I'm glad.
Awesome.
Tomorrow you have Thanksgiving meal day. Awesome. Enjoy.
Yes.
Next Wednesday you'll have your next assignment, and next Thursday we'll be back with something on here. Who knows?
Yeah.
We got a lot of different ideas, and we're having fun. So
Good deal, sir. Appreciate all y'all watching.
Mm-hmm.
You know how special I think you are. And I can prove it. I can prove it. I played Call of the Sea for 2 hours yesterday, which was a really good game. I'll talk more about that Tuesday.
that VOD is up on the channel.
Yeah.
And if you want to help vote for Runger's assignments, be in the chat Tuesday on Twitch side or YouTube side.
Yeah.
You just won't know what the two options are. You can say 1 or 2 every Tuesday. Probably roughly like 8:30 Central, but just come at 7 so you can be there the whole time. So yeah, we'll be back.
I like it.
Pokemon review went up today. Just saying, if people want to, check that out.
Yes.
If you could give it a like, that'd be great because it's getting disliked right now. But until next time, I've been Trey.
I've been Rungren.
And we've been the Full Spectrum Podcast. Full Spectrum D&D Podcast. Aha. Remember to always enjoy the Full Spectrum. The D&D. And 3, 5.
Some edition.
Asked off.